everybody!
Hello!
Welcome to San Marcos Poetry Night. I am your host, Potato Mike. And I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight. Some of you haven't been here before, so I'll briefly tell you what we do. We have 3 rounds of poetry. There's a sign-up sheet right up here. If you haven't talked to me already, come up and I'll put your name down. We have 3 rounds. Come up, read your poem, have a great time, sit back down, check everybody else out. We'll have a little bit of a break. We take a big group photo at the end of round 1 so everybody gets to see how awesome this place is and how much fun we're having and how much it sucks that they weren't there and blah blah blah.
Right.
And so yeah, and that's what we do. And we do that for 3 rounds and then everyone goes home happy and
Blissful.
Yeah, blissful. Yeah, there you go. And full of poetry. It's a magical thing. Very magical. So starting off, we're just gonna kick it right off with our one of my very favorite persons in the whole world, Mr. Thom and Magic Jack.
Yeah.
Everybody get our Thom and Magic Jack!
A
Yay!
is for August.
Yes.
A is for auspicious. This is August the 6th. So, we start with today when I make pilgrimage down to the LBJ library in town where they're celebrating 50 years of the Voting Rights Act.
Yay!
Does anyone vote? I do.
A couple of times.
Every chance I get, I go down to the polls and I say, can I vote twice please? And they laugh at me and I say, no, I did it before. Just take my money and I'll vote for anyone. And no one gets in, of course. Bottom line is, Lucy Baines Johnson was there. And she was there in 1965 when her father said there are 2 types of people in this world. There are the talkers and there are the doers. And the doers want everyone in the whole wide world to be part of participation, just like this open mic tonight, and the rest just talk about coming. Oh, I'd love to have come to Wake the Dead, but I was asleep at the time. You know, I had an urgent appointment with death. Boredom, ennui, cynicism, blah, 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 blah. Facebook, who knows. I was there with all these illuminated people from all the different dimensions of blackness and brownness, who were, once upon a time, in the town I come from, subject to a poll tax. Does anyone know what a poll tax is? It's not a tax on polls. No. And it's not a pole dancer. No. It has nothing to do with Poland. No. You paid $1.75 in 1972 for the right to vote. And I know it's before your time, but I want to tell you now that everyone has the right to vote. But once upon a time, in England, you got more votes. If you had more windows in your house, the richer you were, the more votes you got. In my country, there was a literacy test. You didn't get to vote unless you were literate. So you had to be able to read, write, and chew gum at the same time and answer questions that had nothing to do with your cultural context. Now, these are all barriers like the Voter ID Act, which today was knocked down by the criminal appeals. The bottom line is this: we can vote! Good news is, the voting registrar of Travis County was there, and he said, the millennials, the young people, do not vote. They don't care, they're unplugged. So what we're going to do is this. I can talk my whole life, the microphone, open mic, and people just ignore me and wait and go home. But if they get a text, they immediately address the text. So what they're doing in Travis County now, only one Travis County, is they're sending a text out to all the young saying, yes, you can register via text messaging, 68583. Do that. And the key word is register.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Thom and Magic Jack. And coming up next, we've got Magic Jack.
Oh, yeah!
Magic Jack!
Oh, yes!
It's a surprise.
Imagine that. Well, has anyone ever heard of unrequited love?
Yes.
Has anyone here ever been in love?
We're poets, of course we have.
Well, don't you speak for yourself, sir?
Oh, yes, dude.
Well, are we all poets?
Yeah.
Just because we say we are?
Yeah.
Anyway, you don't have to answer those questions to me.
Think about it.
You have to answer them to the greater poet. Not that one.
Although he may be.
Okay, well, this is a story about love. And it's about the fact that it doesn't die. Once it's reached into your heart, it stays there. And that's what this song is about. But I can't sing it because we're not allowed to do music. I have to say it.
We're not? Yeah. We can have music. Don't make me the bad guy.
Against the law. It's against the law that he made. He didn't make it the previous one. It was bestowed upon him.
He's trying to get in trouble.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you in trouble. I knew a guy. He was a lot like me. And he knew a girl. She was a lot like you. Love doesn't die. It doesn't just go away. Once in your heart, it's gonna stay. Stay. Stay in your home. I knew a girl. She was a lot like you. She wanted love. She wanted a love so true. She gave it a chance, opened her love's desire. She thought it would live. Love, stay, stay. In the home. I knew a guy, he was a lot like me. He was a fool that couldn't see. He had it all he would ever need. He let it die, or so it seems. But it stayed. Stay. Love stays in the home. I knew a girl, and she was a lot like you. She wanted love. She wanted a love so true. Well, her love doesn't die. It never went away. It lives in her heart. It's always gonna stay. 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 In her home.
Alright, thank you. To any of the people that have just joined us, if you plan on reading, let me know. Let me know your name, and I'll put you on the list. If not, then just ignore that. So coming up next, we've got the very lovely Louise. Everybody know Louise, yay!
Thank you. You know, Charlie Brown and Peanuts said, there's nothing like unrequited love to take all the flavor out of peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Exactly. Exactly.
This one is about my sister and myself back in the day, when she was about your age, and I was 3.5 years older. Sisterhood. We are not so close now, my sister and I. Time did that. We grew apart. There was a bond of history, however, and the memory of contentious sharing. Mocking Southern belles, we'd say, Chadwick's come home from the whoa. Playing in the rubber pool, holding the garden hose, each in her turn, squirting when the other sang zippity-doo-dah and said, plenty of sunshine heading my way, squirting. And one pinching the other's cheeks like this, saying, say chubby baby. So we said, chubby baby. Sisterhood, when estranged, still exists in fond memory. Chubby baby. Thank you.
Thanks, Louise. So how many of y'all are going to go home tonight, stand in front of the mirror about 2 a.m. Kill me, baby. I am. Probably going to do it on the ride home, too. Sorry, Tim. So coming up next, we've got this guy. I don't really know about him.
He's alright.
Hey, he's alright or whatever. It's this guy! Hey! I'm retarded. Alright, so this is a poem I wrote. Are any of you people familiar with something called Suicide Girls? Alright.
Is it a band?
Yeah, don't look it up. It's a modeling site, so let's leave it at that.
Oh,
So
close enough.
I saw this, and I saw this girl had a tattoo, a dictionary tattoo in a very appealing place.
Yes.
And so I was inspired by it, and I decided to write this poem. It's called Vulgar. She had a tattoo just below her belly. It was a dictionary definition that read, a strong positive emotion of love, regard and affection, an anonym of hate. Those were the letters inked just above her sparsest patch of hair and etched deeper over her heart. She had a tattoo just below her belly, which made me leery to bring my love home. It was just a sentence I already knew, but still it made me leery to see defined what I knew meant more. All she asks is that you know that definition before you follow that trail in. She doesn't ask if you agree with it, but it is clear she wishes that you acknowledge it before you follow that trail in. Because she knows penetration is only penetrating when love is left undefined.
Yeah.
Thank you. sturdy as some of you might have thought it would have been. Oh, I know. Meet me after this is over and after we've had a few drinks and we can do the triple X version.
It's already hot enough in here, man.
Yeah. All right, coming up next we've got Trevor.
Yeah.
Everybody give our Trevor. Hey! There's chairs and stuff over here and stuff. You're all right.
Okay. Can everyone hear me all right? So this is actually my first time ever doing this, so we're gonna give it a shot. All right. Hold it.
You say this is your first time?
My first time.
Yay!
So this one's called May I Call You Friend. May I call you friend? I guess it depends on what you defend, what you post or consider a trend. You see, I didn't intend to offend, but it seems we tend to extend the middle finger before a friendly hand. So I'll ask you again, may I call you friend? It's like if we differ in opinion on an issue, you act like I diss you, like I dismiss you. Do you need a tissue? I don't want to displease you, unease you, or appease you. I'm not a plague to disease you. I'm not even trying to please you. So I'll ask again, may I call you friend? My words seem to go unheard, like talking through a window. You see my lips move, but you don't hear me though. Sorry.
Yeah. More.
This exchange should be more quid pro quo, more this for that, more chit for chat. There's no need for a verbal combat. So I'll ask you again, may I call you friend? I know our lives have been shaped by events that make up the lines of our defense. Like soldiers in formation, we have no obligation to treat each other human. It's so true, man. Words like an army approaching, I cross line after line, slowly encroaching on the belief systems time after time. So I'll ask you again, may I call you friend? It seems that you feel I have nothing to contribute. You see, I'd like a chance to dispute your astute observation, the opportunity to refute with no confrontation, maybe just have a meaningful conversation. So I'll ask again, may I call you friend? Try not to judge me. Please don't begrudge me. I ask that you try not to budge me on my views and beliefs. Let's just try to talk as friends, where no one where no one condescends and no one has to pretend. So I'll ask again, may I call you friend?
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Just like, what is it? What he said? Toy Story? You've got a friend in me. Yeah, that's cheesy. Jeez. All the people that have just joined us, did any of y'all plan on reading?
Nope, just moral support.
Oh, wow, that's a bunch more support. What's your name again?
Chelsey.
Chelsey, all right.
One day you'll remember it.
That's asking a lot for me, but I will try my hardest.
It's like Chel, so the ocean.
Oh, Chelotion.
Solution.
All right, Chelotion. Got it.
Solution.
So coming up next, we've got Kayla. That's right there.
First time.
First time. Yay!
It's a little high, even with heels. You would think 4 years in orchestra I'd learn how to use a microphone. Vacation. I need a vacation from my mind. I need to escape the cold, icy parts of my brain that have only been touched by the burning whiskey that trickles down my throat, slides into my heart, drowning my every thought in a burning sensation of relief. I keep wishing that the whiskey will be the suitcase I can float on when my mind becomes a Titanic tragedy. During my pursuit to happiness, I get blindsided, and my mood sinks unexpectedly. I become consumed by an unforgiving weather of comments. Look at that fatty, is she eating again? You're just another burden. You're only a body and a pretty face. You're easier replaceable, you stupid ditz. Debating whether I should get help or wait until spring comes and defrost the cold shoulder I've given anyone who reaches out to help me. Maybe autumn will be better, when I can fall like leaves off a tree and camouflage myself in the leaves, well, the leaving of people, because they are tired of me being sick of tired people thinking sickly, I am tired. They say I just need to leave, but I just think I need a vacation from my mind. I need the butterflies in my stomach to come out of hibernation. They're in this cave I've kept them fearfully hostage in, scared that one day they might find love and leave me. Not to mention they're starving, not only because I refuse to feed them, or myself for that matter, but because they haven't felt important since his lies entered my ears and escaped with the blood on my forehead, after he slammed me into a metal locker for the 4th time that month. Luckily, I didn't need stitches. Luckily, only the bruises were visible. Luckily, the witnesses didn't care enough about me to tell me that it wasn't normal. Luckily, I don't remember why he was mad. His anger explodes like a landmine I didn't know I had to look out for. On a battlefield, I mistaked as home. The explosion rattles me again and is silently braining my brain, telling me I need to break up with him again, telling me I can do better, telling me he is the only person who can love a girl with more scars than friends, more luggage than love. I need a vacation from my mind, but I can't afford the hidden baggage fees.
Excellent.
All right, that was awesome. Was that your first time?
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. That's very good. Yeah, and just all the people that just joined us too, just want to let you know, at the end of round 1, we like to all take a big old group photo. Big, happy group photo. We post it up on the San Marcos Poetry page so everybody can see how awesome this is and, you know, how sad they are that they didn't get to come. Yeah, that's life. So coming up next, we've got a very good friend of mine, possibly the greatest poet there ever was, ever will be. Give it up for Mr. Tim Danger. Yay!
Now you have to live up to that.
Yeah, it sucks because it's like I have to follow her.
I know.
And you totally forgot to mention the greatest prolific mind of our time.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of weird because we actually shared a car up here, and so I was trying really nice not to offend him the whole ride because I knew he was going to introduce me. And it's going to be even worse because this next poem is in verse, so I have to sing it. So I'm going to break some rules. It's going to be a very awkward ride home.
Uh-oh.
It's not going to be a ride home.
There's been a lot of death in my social and personal life, and I've always kind of thought about when I go, I kind of want to leave a message for the people that are attending. So I wrote this, and so we performed for you. And I was really into shanties, field songs, all that other stuff. So like I said, it's in verse. I apologize. This is the only one tonight. When I die, will you bury me? When I die, will you bury me? Whether it be in the ground or burial at sea. When I die, will you bury me? All my life I have tried my best to live a life that's different from the rest. And though I may be gone from here, the squares aren't rid of me. When I die, will you bury me? Someone please invite my ex-wife. She'll probably tell you stories of my life. She'll say I was misunderstood, but a great lover, you see. When I die, will you bury me? Don't forget to invite my folks and everyone who said I was a joke. Whether you be my friends or my enemies, when I die, will you bury me? Someone please comfort my best girl. Remind her she's the center of my world. And though I may be gone from her, I'm with her faithfully. When I die, will you bury me? Thank you.
You know, you're lucky that was good.
Oh!
No, really, I hadn't heard that. That was very lovely. Thank you, Jim. All right, so coming up next, we have Elijah. Everybody give it up for Elijah. Yay!
So this is my first time reading here at Wake.
Oh, another one.
This is called One of My Favorite Things. It's a very short poem about a very short experience. That you were a smoker meant I could watch the wisps ascend their lipid limbs in a helical spin, like the progress from trial to trial of love, like a woman undressing upwards, and after the curtain, vanishing. Naked and surreal, your words months ago, the jaws of my awareness tuned to fit that temporary blue that pacifies me, an ocular inhalation. We invite a photographic stillness, stale delight. I was born boring to save these details.
All right, awesome. I like this. So many first timers here.
Yeah.
And even some new little first timers too.
How did they find out? I don't know. How did they find out?
How did they find out?
How did they find out?
Yes, that is interesting to know.
Yeah.
Tell me later. Any of you that have joined us, if you're not on the list and you plan to read, please let me know. Signal me somehow. No, okay. You in the very back, yes. What's your name?
Tommy.
Tommy. Awesome. All right, so coming up next, we have got. Is he ready?
A collaboration.
Is it a collaboration? The father-daughter. Oh, it is a collaboration. Father-daughter. Awesome. All right, coming up next, we've got Scott. Everybody give it up for Scott. Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott!
First, I'm thrilled y'all are all here. So we get to spend the next 3 hours together doing what comes natural, which is what we love to do. So this is one of mine, which is make up stuff on the guitar and play. So. It strikes me that I'm so sick and tired of the old mythologies, man. For 47, almost 8 years now, I've dealt with the stigmata of some silly father that would sacrifice their child. I don't want to do that. I don't want anybody to ever sacrifice their children. I think there's a way to take your mind and open it up flat, like an earth somewhere where people aren't so foolish that they need to drop bombs to solve problems. People aren't so cold-hearted that they look another man in the eye and say, no. When I dream of a world
It's like an open mic where everybody's saying what's on their mind and sharing what they love to do. Just set free the thing inside is so big, one soul can hold it. There's not one poet ever. Any poet I've ever heard, listened to, or read was only good because he was the member of a family. A family with a lost soul saying, man, there's words inside me and they sound like rain and sunshine. They sound like every man's son and every woman's daughter, because somewhere it rains love, not woe. I think of picnic blankets laid somewhere in Japan on a field where the cherry blossoms come down and there are more cranes than the sky has room for. I dream of a world that's full of health and well-being, and it only starts with the way you give yourself to another. I want to be so totally gone and blown away 5 minutes from now that ain't nothing left to count my name on. Somewhere there's a star shining, quite like our own, but underneath it there's no earth, there's no moon. We are so blessed to be on one that has neighbors and friends and lovers. If a poetry night or an open mic is anything, it's paying homage to the thing that's not inside you, but everybody else. Peace.
All right, thank you, Scott. That's what I love about the poetry night here is always makes me feel so good in that very cheesy sort of sappy way.
Cheese means something different in Texas, man.
Yeah. Very queso way? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, queso.
Yeah. We feel very queso.
Yeah.
All right. So coming up next, we've got another poet that I absolutely love, the very talented and lovely Debangana. Right here.
Today is 6th August, so I thought this would be appropriate to read today. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. August 6th, 1945. At 8:15, little boy dropped on the center of Hiroshima, which led a little girl, Sadako Sasaki, to sleep forever in 1955. Some of us remember her on Hiroshima Day. We tell Sadako's tragic story to our friends, to our children who do not know her yet. That she was able to fold 644 paper cranes. But the legend was, crane, a sacred bird in Japan, lives for 100 years, and if a sick person folds 1,000 paper cranes, then she will get well soon. Sadako was not able to finish folding 356 more origami birds. After that, thousands of people around the world started folding paper cranes on this day every year. Hiroshima Peace Parks, Children's Peace Monument in honor of Sadako, all receive uncountable paper cranes today. My little girl Sadako, we fold paper cranes and we remember you. We remember the humanity-threatening explosive day, and we talk about weapon and peace, But alas, UNICEF declared in 2014, quote, "Never in recent memory have so many children been subjected to such unspeakable brutality. It was a year of unprecedented crisis around the world. We still do not know how to protect our children, our future, and our beautiful civilization. We still do not know how to erase castes, superstitions, racial discriminations, and religious conflicts, and to love and be kind to each other. We still do not know how to fly the white paper cranes on our sky that we are folding for many days. Yes, Van Gogh painted wheat filled with crows, but we all are carrying that extreme lonely sky filled with screaming, directionless black crows and uncertainty inside us. Phew, no more bitter statement. Let's build a scarecrow in the center of our garden of life. Let's make a circle holding each other's hands tight and gather all the paper cranes that we have folded so far. Let's one by one go inside the circle, write a peace poem on the paper bird and hang them all with invisible threads around our world. Let's make the same wish on this day, which is engraved on the base of Sadako Sasaki's statue in Hiroshima. This is our cry. This is our prayer. Peace in the world.
Yeah.
No, I did not know that. I heard something about the paper cranes before, but I didn't know the story behind it. Yeah, that's great. Awesome. So did you see PW by any chance? All right, well then we're gonna keep on moving along. So coming up next, we've got another great poet. Well, they're all great poets. What am I saying? We've got the very lovely Vasilina. Everybody give it up, Vasilina! Yay!
Okay, not great nice poet, right? I'll remember you that. This poem is called Inventor. Mr. Guillotine, an advocate for humanity and a foreseer of the future, proposed to statesmen a vehicle for punishment, a sleek guillotine, concise like a grand piano, fast like the best automobile, and painless like an injection of morphine. A door and a portal to the better world, a lift to heaven and hell. In his private life, he was modest and shy. He had an emerald tortoise who kept him company during morning coffee and evening tea. But this is not what he is universally acclaimed for, nor respected the most.
Thank you. I found out the other day that the guillotine was in use until surprisingly not that long ago. I don't know if anyone knows the date off the top of their head, because I don't, but it was this story's going downhill really fast. But look it up. Yeah, dude, you'll find it fascinating, I promise. So we've only got about 5 or 6 poets left, and then that's the end of round 1. And what I would love for y'all to do is take a picture, all of y'all up here, so we can just all see your beautiful faces, and post it up on San Marcos Poetry Night, and just everyone will see how awesome this is and how awesome y'all are. So awesome. So coming up next, we've got Cynthia. Everybody give her a Cynthia. Yay!
The poems I have are It's also a collaboration with my daughter. She and I recently went to the Japanese Garden in Portland, and she shot a roll and a half of film, and from that film I wrote haiku. So it was a haiku walk. And I have two. I'm going to read two because they're, very brief. So the first, still waves of white sand, motionless echoes around stone, a dried leaf floats down. And the second, iris, evergreens, memories in the koi pond, reflections of you.
Oh,
All right, we got about 4 left, and so coming up right next, we've got Roscoe. There he is. Everybody give it a Roscoe, yay!
Lost my page here. This first one, it's not my piece or my words. They're from somebody else that I took off of the documentary, but I connected pints in any pub.
Awesome, thank you. I don't know, 100 pints in a pub. I think I might know a dude pretty well after that. Maybe a little bit too well. All right, coming up next, we've got Ocean. We got Chelsey. Everybody give her Chelsey! Yay!
Ocean, we can keep that. This one is a bit lengthy. Hopefully I can keep your attention. Here. Oh, you will. Right here. Uh-huh. Both eyes. Both eyes. Ears. Nose. And mouth. How can you say that you support self-sufficiency if you're still dependent on your mother? How can you stand there on stage bearing all for even your brother? Oh, please. It's art. And it's a start, and you have a good heart, but collaborating with possible ill intentions, it may suck you away to the internal suspicion of a wayside intersection that will leave you. I can't see you. You're not the same. To be quaint, you're a bit insane. That frontal cortex is a vortex and it lets you see what they can't. It's an us and them mentality. Why can't it just be duality? What a fallacy. That day that Alice did see a schoolgirl tragedy of crying to her teddy bear and letting herself fall into a hole where no one can be aware to what you share. Because narcissism can creep in, and you know that you can't keep him. Falling off the deep end, how far does one follow the path of self-destruction? Holding it all in can cause combustion. And self-validation can also be viewed as self-harm. You're pausing on raising the alarm. The humans now connect through a .com, searching a search bar more frequently than searching for a person in a bar. For I can see who you are in 4.23 seconds. Your dynamic anamic code of 43, not the perfect fit of 42, is eroding you. They are coding you. Give the humans a timeline, call it Facebook, a live stream with partial delays, an odd gathering framed in such a way, Snapchat then the gram, a pictorial from a grain. And what a shame. What do you have to say? Why have a delay? This isn't treason, it's parlay. I haven't washed my hair in 8 days. Ash and fire, soot and sweat, commitment and convictions that run through our blood, fresh soil thanks to the flood. Deep in Gaia's belly, the mangina, our heart is fading, but will shrivel up all the wheat. You are what I seek, plain so meek. I'm not sure how much I can keep. Getting greedy for the love that you seek. I want to need you. I have to be in wanting need of you. Who, you? Who? Her? It's all becoming a blur. Now breathe in and breathe out and let that go. How far do you want to go? I have to know. Ecstatic over not splitting, still going, not quitting. Artistic communal relation, a unique fixation of balancing the intentions. My attention is wrapped in the lamentation of a toast to the water of life. No longer this eternal vice, digging in deep, one at it thrice. I would burn your beans and rice. A vato ni no tonto, silly boy, we just keep burning. It's not sexual, this yearning. It's passion, it's earning, it's devotional and burning. I've lit a fire, burnt my garments and walked away. Stood up after I hit the coals, though. Oh, these woes, though. I did it on a bush, she always said, Zio, though I can't help feel she got the feeling it wasn't real. You belong to another one, with a brother, and you won. You know you always do. I feel shame with you, little boy blue. Meant for her, but she's not meant for him. Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, coming up, we've just got 2 posts left for the end of the round, and let's see, is Tommy? There's Tommy. Calling Tommy. There he is. Everybody give it up, Tommy! Yay!
Hi.
I'm just gonna do a poem I've already heard before. I mean, not here, but
Up there.
whatever. I'm just gonna read it. It's called Chameleon. Ever since I was a kid, I was always fascinated by the chameleon. Now, even though I would never want to touch a chameleon, they are well known for at least one characteristic. Fact. Chameleons have the ability to change their skin color when they are uncomfortable. Fact. A veiled chameleon's ideal temperature ranges from 90 to 105 degrees, and they can withstand temperatures several degrees more. These animals are not like other animals. Before I continue, I just want to, I forgot to issue my trigger warning, so, yeah, trigger warning.
Okay.
All right. I think they call it all too familiar. A little bit too much dark skin, too much sugar in your tank. They call you different. The kind who comes home to bloody knuckles on Thursday and inch-deep slits on wrists every Monday. Your family says you have some explaining to do. 70 degrees easily turns into 99. I'm talking Texas weather. Or Texas defensive marriage. I'm talking one day everything is fine before the next day is hell, and so you reach for a drink. No one knows what anguish tastes like until you have to tell your parents something they probably would not approve of. Mom, I relapsed and I don't know what to do. Dad, please don't be upset with me. Mom, Dad, I'm gay. And when it all cools down, you'll have to do it again with your friends, teachers, co-workers. They told you you are no longer welcome. Too much. I don't know if we can be friends anymore. My daughter cannot be a lesbian. Isn't it ironic? You come out from fighting demons in a closet to fighting the real monsters outside of it. Others tell you that you are built for this. Hot can never be too hot with you because you are built for this. They make you feel uncomfortable under your skin, but you have tough skin. You hope at the end of all these flames that there is a rainbow, my friend. Once told me that some of us are one catastrophic event away from being on the 5th floor of a hospital, one pill short, or one more cut, or one more bullet, one less bridge dive away from it all being over. But none of those suicidal tips even matter anymore because you finally made it. They finally accept you for who you truly are. Beautiful. You are graduating. In a community where everyone fights beside you makes everything feel better. Call us your allies, your gladiator, or your chiropractor. We will always have your back because it will not be easy. They will still mock and they will still glare when all we ask for is one simple request: equal rights and protection for everyone. But it's okay because you're a chameleon. You are educated. You are beautiful. And you are graduated.
Awesome, thank you. I have to agree with the sentiment. I think chameleons are badass. I always have. Yeah, show the chameleon some love, everybody. Thanks. All right, this is our last poets for round 1, and then after, unless there's anybody else that hasn't got to read that would like to, otherwise we do you. Yes, what's your name? Steven. All right, everybody give it up for Steven. Yay!
This is kind of a short story.
Define short? Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Once there was a prince, beautiful, clever, and kind, born into his father's kingdom, spanning far and wide. The king had his condition to be as other kings, protecting his people and bettering their lives as best he could, with as much peace as the land allowed. The queen, caring, gracious, and serene, raised the prince to be just and to always listen to his heart. The boy, being the child of strength and sweetness, grew up in the castle's gardens and played among the children, sharing the royal secrets of how to be a king. There is power in patience and persistence, his father would say. Love is what grows fruit and flowers, would say his mother. And the boy would tell children and strangers and beggars on the streets these things, always happy, always singing, and brightening the day. And so the king saw his child grow and accentuate the good qualities of himself and his wife, and for the first time asked his son to be present at the council's chamber and spare any advice he wished. The next meeting was held, and the boy entered the lamp-lit room, glowing with joy for being asked to share his presence there. Old men and women with beards and gray hair all gathered round the round table in the dark. It's too dark in here and stuffy. Let's go outside to the garden. The king, surprised by the prince's first remark, nodded and agreed. Outside in the garden, by fruit trees and flowers, bees were pollinating and gathering nectar for honey. The councilmen and women started talking about trade and resources, and of enemies and allies, when one elder asked the boy, "O precious prince, how best do we go about these issues of trade and resources, and of enemies and allies?" The boy looked at the bees dancing around butterflies, smiled and said, "These bees know best. They take only what they need, and share and spread these earth's seeds. They are friends to all and work toward making their honey the sweetest for their queen." The prince's eyes gleamed at his mother's. This land is the precious one. This earth is the queen. When we trade or gather resources like these bees, we are trading and gathering this earth. When we fight, we are bringing harm to her. And when we celebrate and give to others, regardless of position or place, we bring joy to her. Through persistence and patience and with love, we can make her happy, she who is the source of our own happiness. A bee landed on his smiling cheek, and a butterfly sat upon his heart. Everyone laughed and smiled, and the king and queen looked into each other's smiling eyes and held hands, as the gentle breeze blew by and the clouds parted for the sun.
All right, thank you. So coming up, this is the last poet for the end of round one, and then we're going to take a little break. But first, we're going to take a picture before that. Oh yeah, just got to throw that out there. So coming up next, we've got Nicolas. Everybody give it up for Nicolas! Yay!
Before you guys say anything, I'm going to do something a little different. Usually I take a word and I make a poem about it, but I actually wrote something for him.
Whoa!
Well, what else are you going to do at 3 in the morning when you can't sleep? Right? So I wrote this last night, and this is, I guess, a draft and a half, so here goes. The parrot per scar so persistent preaching pounds the pavement so hot it makes the concrete weep. It echoes off the streets between the structures and brick. Time ticks. In unrequited, unregrettable requiem of rhyme and rhythm, these stories of the city's speeches. The child scrapes his hand against an old world advertisement, collecting its dust. The old man watches, kicks a glass bottle as he did in his younger days. The harsh heat, heavy and thick as the rubber and asphalt, it magnifies, and then all at once, it dies. Everything bursts with a fire hydrant sent to clean the city's heat. The coolness runs seeping, streaming, runs seeping, steaming, and what is left streaming down the city's drain, only to be recaptured, only to be a part of these environmental streets. To nurture below and escape to the gates to a different world, the city continues pounding the sweat of the pavement with the moisture of the footsteps of its citizens until again it is over. The moisture no longer rises up from below or goes below. All the sky is thumping with an alive heart, and a new life begins with a single drop. The citizens look up. With eyes as big as water, the puddles begin to collect in the streets.
All right, everybody, it's picture time. It's the beginning of round 2. Thanks.
Yeah.
That's what I like to see. Thank you all so much. So without further ado, we're just gonna kick it off right away with the very magical Thom, and accompanied by people. Someone. Yes. Everybody, give it up for Thom.
A is for Austin and Osmic, and A is for a bomb that blew us away. We are civilians on this day in 1945. If you were in Hiroshima, you'd not be here tonight. A lot of people say that stopped the death of so many soldiers if they invaded Japan. That's not true. Simple truth is 150,000 of people like us are no longer with us because someone blew them away. Now in the alphabet of annihilation, also staying with A, we have gone all the way from A to H, and the H is not silent today. Hydrogen bombs exist, but that's so far away. I've never seen a nuclear weapon, have any of you? But when it comes down to it, at an open mic at Cafe Caffeine, the woman who's playing guitar said my father was the one who was flying the plane that dropped the bomb. And all the game. And she felt guilt for her father's action. She knows he blew away civilians. We are civilians. We don't have weapons. These are the only arms, and they're waving in surrender. And just by chance, if we're in a cinema, we just have the possibility of being blown away today. Send terrorism out, terrorism comes back. PTSD for all the cops on the street. They come back from wars out there, wars inside here. And who do they attack? The innocent. I see them in here. So children of all ages, raise your hands today. Raise your hands if you want peace and not be blown away. In supplication I call upon all the gods of war. Mars and all the others, leave us alone for sure. With love in my heart, I meditate on reclaiming the alphabet for love. Let us start then with age, no longer a bomb. It is awesome, it is cosmic, it is Austin, it is everything you wish it would be. Let's call it poetry.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Thom. And Scott. Thank you for that. So coming up next, we've got Mr. Magic Jack. Everybody give him
So when I first arrived in Austin,
Hey, gone down, man.
Oh, we blew it up.
Sound.
It's buzzing.
Oh, back on. Go on, talk to me. What? No, it's off.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Technical difficulties.
Ah, disconnection.
It's a connection problem. But now I'm connected.
Yes.
If you can hear me,
yeah.
Look this way. So when I first got to Austin in 2012, something that was really surprising to me, because I never saw this in Rhode Island where I'm from. There were people standing on these islands at the stoplights with signs asking for money, whatever, I'm homeless, or I'll work for anything, or whatever you have would be helpful. And I found it so embarrassing to like stop at the light and be looking at this person, and they're looking back at me like, what do you got? I'm like, shit, something, So. But this was a new experience for me, and I'm accustomed to it now. So, like Thom, he always carries extra water because these people are out there usually in the hot Texas sun, and if you can't give them money, at least you can give them something. I thought that's great. So whenever I have change, I put it in a little compartment. Or I have something in my cooler, which that's what this poem is about.
This is called watermelon sharing. It was 98 degrees. I had some slices of watermelon packed in the ice chest with some 16-ounce beers. We were now free. An afternoon performance. He, the world poet, followed close behind me. We were driving off to some open mic fun. And there on the traffic island at Airport Road in Lamar stood a black woman, a beggar, with a handmade sign, and the sun-heated pavement and relentless sun overhead. Remembering, I reached for an ice-cold slice. And seeing that my window was lowering, she approached, and I, hoping the light would hold red just a bit, and it did. Her weary face lighted up at the sight. She reached for it, thankfully, but still a surprise awaited her behind me, as the world poet himself had a can of refreshment in hand, sticking out the window, ready for her to grab a hold of as well. The light turned green. Her smile could be seen in the rearview mirror, even in that dreadful heat. Thank you.
See, that's who you want to come across. Whatever you're begging is just a caravan of poets.
Yeah.
That'd be the greatest thing ever.
With something cold.
Yes. Anyone that has joined us that wasn't here for round one, if you would like to read for round two, just let me know. I can put your name down, just get my attention if possible. All right, well, we're going to go right ahead to our next poet. Give it up for Louise. Everybody give her Louise. Yay!
For Louise, the birds in the trees sing to twist your Louise. My mother has a song too. Marie, the dawn is breaking.
Oh yeah.
And then I think, anyway. What's his name had a song called Marie as well?
Maria.
Randy Newman. Very, very nice song. Well, we had a lot of rain for a long time, and now it's hot and dry again. On my way here, I went through Wimberley. There's a road in Wimberley, the River Road, that I used to like to drive down, bald cypresses in the river. It's beautiful, and I used to envy the people who lived in the houses there. Well, you know what happened in Wimberley during the floods. And I saw it for the first time today, just unbelievable devastation. Giant trees uprooted, as big around as a house, the roots, and just like matchsticks. And of course the worst part were people's homes washed away with the people in them. It was terrible. So even though we had a lot of water, it's dry again now, and we could use just a little bit of water, not that much, but just a little bit of water. This is the properties of water. Consider the varied properties of water, the most basic requirement for life. We cannot be without it. We virtually evolved from it. We are mostly made of it. We are merely a few impurities and water. Just think of the uses we make of the water outside ourselves for cleansing and cooling and cooking. Imagine all we do with the substance. Fathom what it is and what it can be. Water cools, heats, washes, transports, seeps, weeps, dissolves, dilutes, soothes, activates, sprays, lubricates, glues, catalyzes, floods, sweats, spills, quenches, bloats, floats, transpires, permeates, sprinkles, cascades, streams, tides, pipeates, drops, mists, showers, irrigates, channels, waves, boils, surges, swells, pools, pours, evaporates, and desiccates. And all that is just in the liquid state. Water can also freeze, melt, steam, or sublimate, liquid to solid, solid to liquid, liquid to gaseous, or directly from a solid to a gaseous state. These transitions and translations make our weather. Water estates, snow, hail, sleet, storm, and rain. Rain is the most precious watery condition, literally worth its weight in gold. In fact, in the Kalahari country of Botswana, pula is rain, and also the name of its currency. We must preserve this our treasure, each take no more than is our measure, save it for generations yet to come, so they may still have some. Consider the varied properties of H2O, hydrogen hydroxide, pH of 7, the elixir of life, the one and only cool, clear water.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, so coming up next, oh man, this guy again. Just, humor him and listen to. No, it's this guy. Yay! I love doing that. So this is a poem. I like to imagine meeting ideas at a bar and talking with them like they're people. And so this is conversations at the bar when Cupid has a few too many. Surprise, surprise, I found Cupid at a bar, made all more absurd and disturbing by his public drunkenness and his blatant nudity, plus the quiver and bow that hung crookedly across his wings. Bleary-eyed Cupid, leery-eyed Cupid, squinted at me and all the nuanced couples moving and mingling like little pawns across his chessboard. And each and every awkward gesture and misjudged move was like a toast in honor of his ego. And so it was without warning that Cupid fumbled for his bow and drunkenly fired into the crowd. Certain that there's always someone lovesick, ready to be love-struck. Certain that there's always a person eager to charge their love on credit. Certain that there's always a quota of Valentine's Day roses to be clipped and shipped. But I was shocked, because no one seemed to notice Cupid. They only seemed to notice each other's makeup, made-up plumage. And no one seemed to hear Cupid's repetitive sighing. They only heard the clinking of ice in their half-emptied glasses of courage. And they only heard their hot whispers promising hotter nights that rarely, if ever, had a chance of dawning. I was confused to find Cupid acting in such a way, and I was surprised to find that no one ever flinched when Cupid's arrow hit. At most, they only scratched at some soothing biological itch, or they smiled and beamed from some glowing genetic need. I took a seat next to Cupid and ordered a round for the two of us. Cupid smiled at my starstruck gaze and gave me an appreciative nod. No mortal has bought me a drink in as long as I can remember. In fact, it is rare that a mortal has ever given me more than a pause, beyond those acclamations they offer during their most ecstatic of exclamations. He downed his drink and leaned in close as he gave the bartender a signal for another. You know, normally I don't do this, but you look to be a good guy. So for you, I will do this most special, this most privileged of favors. Who is it here that your libido swings towards? Who here could you rapture like a saint in sinner's clothing? Just give me the word, and with one simple arrow, she's yours for the having. He fumbled for his bow and quiver, and I subtly pushed them away. He ignored my move, or possibly never noticed, and continued to rave. So who's it you want? How about that leggy cherry bomb sizzling over there? I bet 10 minutes with her and she could blow you straight out the stratosphere. Or what about that soft and soulful star with those midnight velvet lips? Oh, on those lips you could dream of every universe and heaven, real and imagined. Or maybe, instead you spot that subdued, sublime siren by the jukebox. I can tell she's serenading you, the way her lips shape those romantic lyrics, and she's hypnotizing you with her hips, subtly swaying to them to the beat underneath, Yes, I can see it in your eyes that you're outlining her curves with your boldest brush. So, my good friend, which beauty do you want? Or perhaps you want them all. He boasted with laughter that I found embarrassing and yet irresistibly intriguing. I did my best to suppress my disappointment in the Cupid that I had discovered, and I did my best to redirect all that southbound blood back to my north-thinking head. I tried to tell him that he had me and everything entailed all wrong. I don't think your arrows are meant for all these random flights of fancy. I've come to believe that every arrow must mean something special, that if any arrow is to matter anything at all, then every arrow must represent all that I find to be wholly, life-lovingly unique. Cupid appeared both frustrated and confused. So I continued, with desperations to elaborate on my point. What I'm hopefully saying, my dear rosy Cupid, is that if you are to help me and not to harm me, then you must be as disciplined as you are passionate. You must treat your arrows as if they are of a finite number. And most importantly, each arrow must represent the values I desire the highest, and not simply the lust I hunger after the hardest. Cupid remained quiet, and now more withdrawn. Am I making sense? All I'm doing is mimicking my heroes, the romantics, whose shoulders I sit upon whenever I pen my tributes. Cupid stared into the distance as I paid for our drinks, and before I left, I gambled one last plea. You know all those arrows you shot so wildly into every crowd? Why not take a moment and watch these couples you've managed to hit? And tell me, dear spirited Cupid, what are their odds of any kind of lasting, fulfilling love? Is it just one night? Is it just 2 days? Or are they a rarity and they last longer than a month? And then tell me, dear dispirited Cupid, of all those hapless and numerous hearts, how many were better off before your arrows intervened? Cupid never answered. He only stared into his empty drink and quietly signaled for another. And coming up next, we got Trevor. Everybody give our Trevor.
That was really good. All right, this one's called Mindset Minefield. Please, God, save me through my madness. I pray you love me through my sadness. I need to know that one day I will obtain salvation. I need to know that I will have a mindset revelation. My God, oh my God, why do I feel this way? Am I destined to live life as a castaway? Alone on a deserted island in my head, with words left unsaid, poems left unread. My mind is a devastating, fiery thought holocaust, where all feelings of joy are destroyed and lost. It's not my wife, family, or any one kid. It's a constant thought of feeling invalid. A man without foundation in fact, truth, or law, mindlessly wandering in a self-induced insomnia. Will I ever get that feeling of exemption? Will I ever get that sense of redemption? Mindlessly wandering in a self-induced insomnia. A man without foundation in fact, truth, or law. It's a constant thought of feeling invalid. It's not my wife, family, or any one kid. Where all feelings of joy are destroyed and lost. My mind is a devastating, fiery thought holocaust. With words left unsaid and poems left unread, alone on a deserted island in my head. Am I destined to live life as a castaway? My God, oh my God, why do I feel this way? I need to know that I will have a mindset revelation. I need to know that one day I will obtain salvation. I pray you love me through my sadness. Please, God, save me through this madness. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. All right, and coming up next, we've got Kayla. Everybody give her Kayla.
Whoa, I worked a microphone stand. Okay, before I start the poem, I want to tell you this poem is metaphorical, It's not literal, it's about a feeling, not necessarily a person. So keep that in mind when I read it.
Who is it really?
You'll understand. Dating, depression. We've been together for a few years now, off and on again. I drag him to couple counseling, but it makes him uncomfortable. He silences me as soon as we walk in the door. Kicks me under the table when I mention the sleepless nights, or the nights when I can't sleep and my lungs will scream, begging for anyone to hear me and pour water on me to wake me, baptizing me in any comfort they can muster up at 3:14 a.m. Sure, depression's the one that keeps me awake, but he never fails to tell me a bedtime story. He's so sweet, makes me the main character. Once upon a time, there was this girl. She walked in the door, and as soon as she walked in, she realized everyone there hated her. Maybe it was because she shut the door too loud, or perhaps it was because she was 3.2478 seconds late. Why else would they be staring at her? She knows that they're staring at her. The therapist interrupts and asks about my appetite. He answers for me. I bring her out to eat, but all she orders is a drink. 800 calories a day is enough to keep me going when I don't want to keep me going. Motivation takes too many calories out of the bank. I cannot afford to eat when my body does not show a healthy balance. In the office, it gets uncomfortably quiet. He keeps staring at the clock, watching it tick, looking at me, watching my ticks. He keeps motioning at me to make an excuse so we can leave and never return. Why can't he just leave and never return? When I fail to come up with a good enough reason, I get upset. I bring up medication. He shifts in his chair, glares, and gives me the look like a Grinch on Christmas. When I threaten to break up with him, he gets defensive. We've been together for almost 3 years now. That must mean we're getting serious, right? It's the most serious relationship I've ever had. He tells me that he will let me go out with friends, sometimes, if I promise never to bring up Zoloft again. I wish I would actually get invited to parties that I might actually think about going to. But my friends don't like it when I bring a depression along. They don't like being the third wheel. Depression tells me I'm clingy, but don't worry, he likes it that way. How else would he be able to keep me in his grasp if I'm not clenching to every lie he tells me? His anger is like a knife that strangles over me, dangling over me as I keep waiting for him to snap and for it to stab me in the back. I tell him it was just a dumb idea, one of the many that haunt me. He suddenly laughs and reminds me of every dumb comment, idea, thought, gesture that I have ever made in my life. Remember that one time in first grade when the chair moved and it sounded like you farted? That was hilarious. Remember when you kept trying to move the chair, hoping that the classmates didn't think you farted? Because little girls are not supposed to fart in the middle of class. Remember when you asked your mom if you can train a rooster to crow at a certain time if you fed it at the exact same time every morning? Remember that? I do, and I will remind you for the rest of your life. The clock strikes 10:45. He rushes us out the door. Doesn't want to waste another second of the therapist's time. On the way out, he tells me these great plans he has for us. Parties, talking with friends, going out to eat, actually eating, maybe considering going to sleep early, maybe before midnight. But as soon as we're alone again, he tells me how foolish and appreciative I am. After all, he supports me. Deals with my annoying habits. I nod. He's right. He always is. He suggests that we stay in this week and spend some quality time together. If he holds me real close, I feel like we can be one person. But then again, I don't know if we were ever two.
That was great. You know what? That dude's a dick. Come on, man, say that.
Yeah.
All right. So coming up next, we've got Tim. Everybody, give it up for Tim.
You went out and you came back.
literal poem. It's about Texas being hot.
It's literal.
It's short. The problem with Texas is that it's just so damn hot. And maybe it's training for our future, for what the devil's got. With the drugs from the border, with all the crooked cops, with outlawed distilleries, and when a pregnant teenager pops. We're living in sin, baby, and I like it a lot. But the problem with Texas is that it's just so damn hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is God. Thank you, Tim. That's just, you know it's hot when you look like you spilled stuff all over you. All right, so coming up next, we've got Elijah. Everybody give it up for Elijah. Yay!
Alright, so this is called the main argument. Looking through a glass for a woman, looking through a glass for herself, moving through light sheet me. The way a gliding goddess eases forward with a terrestrial gaze, draped legs drawing muted sips through a solitary sheet of lake. Her swathing skirt is an earthen fire, goddess. Exit and entrance are concurrent, and two open doors stand face to face, one to be lost and the other to be let inside, godless. The rough crimson snake of my mind sinks to my hands and feet, icy nerves hissing, let go of curiosity, you're just a godless man, poised as a dusty library, fragile as a swollen cloud, godless. I have lived only through reflections, but I have lived as the ray formed between two gazes, fleeting, shattering, unrelated.
Awesome, thank you. All right, coming up next, we've got a little treat for you. It's two poets to share the mic with each other. Give it up for Debangana and Scott. Yay! I'm trapped. I'm trapped.
Kelsey?
Is that recording or just take pictures?
Just photos.
We've developed a poetic email dialogue, which to me is much more like a Greek chorus because one says one thing and the other one replies in return. And so this is that version. This is one version of such a dialogue, and it's called One Song for Two Voices.
Dissatisfaction drips since opening my eyes. Kajal stains only. Rolling through the disheveled day, waiting. Passionate addiction of a few lines. You perhaps do not know. I never did.
Weary and tired, just waking up. Think of the crater where I once stood. Then the sunlight of concern trickles in. And I know what will be is what is.
This flood has filled the crater. Floating trees covering the mouth. A rocking chair from somewhere waiting at the other side. Crossing cautiously, you may sit there to wash your wounds.
Inside me is a hollow place. Inside you is a hollow place. Yet the same music comes out of both. Perhaps that is what being a doorway for someone really means.
Rain was sure to come if you did not. Still air devoid of sound. Absent desire to write. Absent warmth in each sip. No way to close the day early. Only banks of dark cloud intervening.
I gulp at you, like breath to the drowning man. Drink you in, like wine kissed from the lips of the too sober woman. Or water, quenching the thirst of someone who has stood stock still in a desert for far, far, far too long. Is that not thirst? Is that not one? Is that not what a piece of bread is broken from?
4 walls of my own, like end of all thirst. Preparations to enter that beautiful world, a festival. Still assurance of rain beyond the wall, even today. Wet emotions clustering even on the wall inside.
Transformation is rose into daisy. Watch the droplet roll off the petal of the rose. Even that for which we thirst must be let go of. Yet so too is the dirt washed away, hoping what remains is quiet, still, and without thorns.
Let what remains stay. It won't thrive in the new home. What once thrilled within is silent now. Only a knot in the chest reminds there it is, exactly.
One song through 2 voices.
Thank you. That was great. Really enjoyed it. That's what I like too. I see people collaborating here, and that's just awesome. Could someone do me a favor and shut that curtain, that back one? Thank you. All right, so we're gonna keep it going. Coming up next, we've got Vasilina. Everybody give her Vasilina! Yay!
This poem is called Dragon. A bewildered emperor stands in front of the cage with dragon and decides to implement the rigorous restrictions. Exterminate from now on all the loopholes, for which partly the party was responsible and partly the predecessor. Clearly, dragons should be forbidden from now on. On the contrary, only beautiful creatures, such as unicorns, porcupines, domestic fishes and animals, including but not limited to flamingos, and those who wear the golden leashes with medals, not to mention the chirping circle of monkeys, scarabs and grackles. Also the pride of chameleons, one comelier than the other, gathered on a shining golden plate, and such things, that is to say, things like that, meaning innocuous, nice in their habits, pleasant to eye, as well as having diagonal stripes or adamantine gaze, or both, are mercifully now wholeheartedly approved.
Awesome, thank you. And another shout out to the chameleon. Yeah, that was a good thing. All right, so coming up next, we've got Roscoe. Everybody give it up for Roscoe!
Out in nature, everything's okay. Societal constructs and rules fade away along with time. There's no need to feel bad about a breakup or a death. Just take in all the green and bright colors with a fresh breath. Out in nature, everything's okay. No need for violence, fear, or crime. The warm waves beat down upon my pale face. No one more loving or caring has caressed me with such grace. Out in nature, everything's okay. Out in nature is where I like to play. Out in nature, I feel her healing wave. Out in nature is where I like to stay.
Hell yeah. And there she is. This time it's Shoshin. Shoshin. Give it up for Chelsey, everybody. Yay!
Do this by memory. Hopefully I don't forget. Okay.
How will we know?
Forget everything I know.
Exactly.
You wouldn't know. Okay, we'll put that down. Everyone is brought into your life for your enjoyment, to amuse you, and in the case of when a ruse is set on you, or when an act of abuse is laid down on you, it is meant to force you to grow. To have you know who you are off of the reflections of the various people that you allow in and out of your conscious stream. Don't you know that you're just living a dream? And I, shedding this information, is ripping a small seam. As the ash, wow, now you know. As the ash rains down, welcome to the human experience. Ass everywhere.
Ass everywhere. Right. Thank you. All right, so we got about, I think, 5 poets left, and that's going to be the end of round 2.
Yep.
So without further ado, Tommy, do you have another one for us? All right, everybody give her Tommy! Yay!
This one's titled Response to the Ticking Time Bomb. Do you know how it feels to get fired on your day off? Well, let me explain. It fucking sucks. It's like taking the last bus of the night to the wrong place, or watching your roommate eat the last piece of cheesecake you bought in Italy. You know the feeling. That slight moment of shock right before you pray to God for forgiveness because you somehow obtained a lighter and a plethora of gasoline you're about to burn the city to the ground.
Yeah.
That feeling. I was a bomb expert. My attire consisted of a heavy suit, wire cutters, and a heart built for saving lives. This job is not for everyone. It holds no promises of a future, but promises to let you know if you did it wrong the first time. The first thing I tell you in training is be cool. The pressure is up, kid. The people you stand to protect will be counting on you. The bomb will be counting on you. Do you have the right tools? You have 2 minutes left. Your life depends on it. Their lives depend on you. My last day of work was no different. Be cautious. Don't let the yelling, sweating, and tears get under your skin. Follow the wire. Is it the red one or the blue one? Is it red or blue? Are you red or blue? Red or blue? 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Make a decision and it's over. Disclaimer. This is not a story about a bomb technician. This is a story about the bomb. She was the ticking time bomb that I failed to defuse. And they tell me that I'm still bleeding. I am still removing pieces of you from my body. My arms won't stretch wide enough to let anyone in anymore. Ever since she left, I can't get rid of the constant tick, the constant chess game, running out of sacrifices in order to get my queen back. I still mourn for you. No amount of drugs, alcohol, sex is strong enough to help me forget how important you were. 20 seconds feels like 20 years left of mistakes left to make, and I have already failed you. I have been replaced as we speak. So to the technician who took my position, you better make every tick count. Don't fuck this up. Your success will not be a lake in which I choose to swim, but I will swim for those that you stand to protect. And more importantly, don't you ever think about taking a day off work.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed that one. That was cool. Especially ending. I was like, I see what you did there. Alright, so coming up next, we've got Steven. Do you have another one? Yes! Everybody get over to Steven! Yay!
This one's called The Party is Part Me. This party that we think we are at now, that we feel we are participating in at this moment, is principally inseparable from all parties. We are actually in a space party, living in an Earth party, living in an Earth body party. And these parties make up a small perception of the grand party. And there are so many gravitational words we can place in front of the party to describe our experience and existence. Yet all of these words originate from the same place, which always exists, which is here now. This is an ancient party, a beautiful party, a celestial party, a dreamy party, an elephant, eagle, and Eskimo party, a free party where you are free to be who you will yourself to be. This is a glorious, golden ratioed God and goddess sex party, a humorously humiliating and humbling party, an infinitely imaginative and intelligent party, a just party, a kundalini-colored Krishna party, a laughing party, a loving party, a party of us living together, a mother party. We are all mothers being born from the same womb party. This is a new now party. This is an omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, omni-orgasmic Om party. A pants or no pants party. A queer party. A revolutionary, riotous remembering to the repairing of our resonance party. The sacred, superfluid, sacred geometry, sun and moon dance party. The truth party, timeless, transdimensional. We are truly all together, tied together to this universal, unfolding, oceanic party. This victory dance party, this wonderful water and wind wisdom party. It's an excitingly extravagant and extraterrestrially extraordinary party with xylophones that children play with while singing sometimes. And it's y'all's party, yes. This party is the awesomeness, zooming and blooming the best possible part in us always, being the beloved of the beloved. And again, there are countless combinations that we can create to do our part, to musically start magically making our art radiate those words that we feel frame the essence of this party, and have our hearts hold this purified place for this perfection and this peace. This is one party that we are all part of.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I totally.
Yeah.
Hello.
Connection.
Oh, no.
Connection.
What happened?
Mess
with things.
Yeah, just pretend like you're doing something.
I got it. And that's one thing. When I just had a kid not that long ago, she's about 7 months. That's one of the things that she's teaching me is that life is a party.
Yeah.
She is a party baby. Oh my god. Doesn't matter the time, and especially like she has a little bouncer thing too. It's got little rave lights on it. It's so amazing. She's just like in there like. Yeah. It's just great. It doesn't matter. She wakes me up all the time. She wakes us up all the time. And I don't, you put her in that and you can't be upset. She's having a little rave party.
Yeah.
Party on, man.
Yep.
Party on, Wayne. Party on, God.
Just like daddy.
All right. Coming up next, we've got Claudia. Everybody give her Claudia.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Okay. You'll notice I didn't read last time because I didn't think that this was ready to be read. But I'm going to read it anyways.
All right.
The morning sky has been pinker on the days I start off in bed without you. I know I just saw you in my dream. I know I'll see you there again tomorrow. Though time and distance have no bearing in our imagination, I feel physically closer when we're there. We are the physical manifestation of the hand that fits the glove. The brain snugly inside the skull. The suitcase overpacked but still zipped smoothly every time. I've never fallen asleep in your arms or woken up by your side. My body wants to remember what my dreams have had many times. My brain does not believe my reality. Time with you is too perfect to be actuality. I write your name down over and over. There are clues in these 18 letters I have yet to decipher. Where you come from, if you're an angel or an alien, a demon or a demigod, I would be content if you had 2 hearts and eyes under your curly locks. I couldn't ask you to change any more than you could. I wouldn't hold back any more than you would.
So thank you. Glad you chose to read. All right, we've got 2 more poets, and that'll be the end of round 2. So coming up next, we have Nick. Everybody give it up for Nick! Yay!
This is a short and complete one. Really. You're so vicious and so plain to the world that it makes monkeys scream with agony for no apparent reason. Just like a Roman folder stuck in an abandoned apartment.
Alright. Thank you, Nick.
Is Kelsey going to read?
Is Kelsey going to? That is a very good question.
Yeah.
Is Kelsey going
Come on,
to read? She's doing this gesture, but I'm not getting what that means.
Kelsey, come on.
Yeah, no. Peer pressure. Poetry peer pressure. Round 3?
Yeah, maybe round 3.
Okay, alright. Everybody, that's Kelsey if you don't know her. Keep goading her to read. Alright, so coming up next, we got our last poet for round 2. Everybody give it over to Nicolas! Yay!
So, I don't have anything else prepared.
Wow, we have improvised.
Quicksilver.
Okay, Quicksilver? Okay.
Snile.
Quicksilver. Quicksilver.
Also Mercury.
Yes.
She's an X-Men character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Film reference.
Anyway, let's see here.
6-month-old babies.
The quicksilver read the fever. The quicksilver killed the werewolf of the disease of the child. From its mother's womb it came. The quicksilver said the story of. The quicksilver said the story that rose my temperature, my elevation in my heart when it took over, when the werewolf took over. And the heat burned my cheeks down to my feet as I lay in bed. That mother stood beside me with a wet cloth, trying to get the wolf out of me. The wolf had its teeth, it grew like death, its fur in my claws as it slowly took me over, changing my body numb in transformation of stillness. It took me slowly, slowly, slowly. And finally the quicksilver showed I was cured of the wolf when the silver took me and the wolf inside me, and I was cold.
All right, everybody, that's the end of round 2. So we got here about 10 minutes, so it's going to be like 9:50 or so, and we will start the final round. All right, well, everybody, this is it. This is the last round. And give yourselves a big hand for sticking around here. Y'all are the true champions. And also,
Yeah.
what true champions do
Help with
is
the
they
chase.
help put stuff back together.
That's what champions
That's what a
do.
true champion
Yeah.
is.
Lucky we're fakes.
But anyway, y'all been great. We're San Marcos Poetry Night. We meet the first Thursday of every month. And y'all are as awesome as always.
Thank you, Potato Mike. Thank you.
Thank y'all. All right. Without further ado, give it up for Mr. Thom.
During the break about the singularity that takes us from a human behavior into robotic apps. We're now approaching a time when there's a merging of heart and mind whereby we don't know which of us are robots. Some people you know are programmed and everything they say they talk in cliche. Paper or plastic, have a nice day. Other people are more unpredictable, we call them poets. They may dance, they may sing, they may make art on the walls of a coffee shop. They may take photographs, multi-dimensional creatures like the eyes of a bee or a bird. But the beautiful part is, while a monarch butterfly is a threatened species, and while the bees are dying in California, while we drink the almond milk that has no almonds, we come to the stage whereby we must ask, who are these apps for? What control do we have? And it seems to me, the only way to be human technology. Take these hands, they're really good for hugging and cuddling. Take these eyes, really good for witnessing. Take these ears, perfect for hearing what your poems are going to sing. Take the body of knowledge that is everything. Make it more than Google, make it more than Wikipedia. People say we've only got a certain number of senses, only got a certain amount of time, but that's not true. There are different regions of time, like time waiting for a bus, longer than time reading a book, time between birth and death, very short little butterfly breath. In our next life, which is this life, in our next morning, in our next night, we get the chance to start the dance all over again. We're not applications, we're our own program. There is no hand in the puppetry of our lives. When we choose to revive and survive, not to be alive, we realize we find a living, because they are wrestling too. Little drops of dew on the morning grass evaporated by interrogatory sunlight. Now you say temporary, you say transitory, I say eternity, and every moment we sing, because we're more than applications, we're more than robotry, we are human beings.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, and yeah, almond milk doesn't have almonds.
Doesn't have almonds.
I hope my sister doesn't find that out, because that's just gonna ruin her day. She insists. She told my mom too.
Yeah.
Like when you feed
Yeah.
my niece, her daughter, she
Yeah.
was like, you've got to give her almond milk. Very, because it's the almonds are healthy and
Uses all the water in California too.
Yeah.
Them and pistachios, huge amounts of water just to get the almond.
I'm just telling her she's just ruining the world.
Oh, guilt trip.
So, without further ado, bring up Magic Jack, everybody!
Thank you very much, and thank you for staying.
Yeah.
There's several other pieces tonight about unrequited love, and in particular, Mr. Potatoes. Piece,
Yeah.
I thought was
Yeah.
quite apropos for something that I've just written recently, and so I have to do it because it speaks to your piece.
You have to.
Yes. And this is, it's kind of like, how do I explain it? That Cupid arrow that wants to point in a certain direction, but it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? So it's, and you can sing along with this part of it too. It's never going to be. takes you there, takes you there. But you know it's never, never gonna be. It's never, never, never gonna be. You know it's never, never gonna be. It's just a lovely, lovely fantasy. That's all it is. Lovely, lovely fantasy. Get her in your arms with all your charm, yeah, using all your charm. You dream you have her in your arms with all your charm, yeah, with all your charm. You know it's never really gonna be. You know it's never, never gonna be, no. It's never, never, never gonna be. It's just a lovely, lovely fantasy. It's just a lovely, lovely fantasy. Well, you know, it's never, never, never gonna be. It's in your dream, baby. It's never, never, never gonna be, no. It's never, never, never gonna be. It's just a lovely, lovely fantasy. And that's all it is. A lovely, lovely fantasy. Oh, yeah, yeah. Lovely, 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 lovely fantasy. Oh, yeah. There's more lyrics to it. Thank you. Anybody had one of those?
Oh, what?
Lovey Dovey fantasy?
All the time.
All right.
Have I ever had a lovey dovey fantasy?
All the time.
That's like asking, have I ever closed my eyes for an extended period of time? All right, so coming up next, we got Louise. Everybody give it up for Louise! Hey!
Thank you, thank you. Bitten. Good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. We used to say at bedtime. In recent years, I have been, as they say, bitten by the bug. Insidious insects prick my flesh when warmth takes the world. Mosquitoes will feast soon, and I will try to ignore them. But I will tire of itching about the ankles, and friends will be less tolerant of those little bloodsuckers. I suppose a mother must feed her babies rich red blood. However, I flinch at being hostess with the mostest for a brood of growing irritants. When in the woods, I hope I will avoid the sucking parasites of deer from giving me a nervous tick.
Whoa.
Yep. Alright, so coming up next.
Yeah.
This dude again. I'm sorry, everybody. You're just gonna have to listen to him one more time. I swear.
Who is it?
It's this guy! Yeah! Oh, thank you. Alright, so this is a little. I went through a phase where I like to write a lot of sonnets. And so this is one of those. It's called Please Delete. Dear Deity, I want to format myself and reinstall a more stable OS. One that might not be compatible off the shelf, but with a bit of work, it'll save me a load of BS. Really, I don't mind if you click select all and press delete. Most of those files are corrupt, the rest are wearing thin. And anything resembling unique remains vastly incomplete. So do me a favor, and please don't forget to empty the recycling bin. And with regards to an OS, anything different will suffice. Anything different must run better than this. So fare thee well, blue screen of death. Goodbye, error device. Say hello to anything with a better guarantee than hit or miss. Then, freshly formatted and reinstalled, I will compute to win. Until a few years pass, and I'll wish to be formatted once again. And coming next, we got Trevor! A regular Trevor! Yay!
Thank you. I'll let you guys pick. Love or war?
Love.
Alright, man, I was gonna say war.
I know you would.
Alright, this one's called Love Weather. I send whispers from my soul into the wind for you. Winter snowfall covers the blood I've spilled anew. Father Time won't wait for this broken heart to heal, and the fire that consumes my soul is unreal. As autumn allows winter's cold death onto the land, a passion overtakes my body for one final stand. What will it take for me to hold your beauty? How can my bleeding heart escape this cruelty? Just like the leaves of the trees falling to the earth, I'm blown away and scattered with no hope of rebirth. If I miss my one chance to fulfill this desire, then my life was wasted and my heart's a liar. Before the sun sets on the time we spent together, our love must withstand any season and all weather.
Thank you. Alright, coming up next, we've got Kayla! Everybody give her Kayla! Yay!
So I read this poem like 5 to 10 minutes ago during the break.
You wrote it? You wrote this fresh?
Yes, it's brand new.
Yes! Yes!
No editing, so I apologize now. Maybe in the future there'll be a better edition.
There will. Good.
My boyfriend pointed out that I don't write any happy poems, so I decided to try.
Oh, good.
Here's the closest thing to a happy poem I have written. She was burdened to loneliness like a princess bound to her castle, too caught up in her solitude to rule her kingdom. But as the great clouds retreat so she can finally see the sunshine shining down on her, the roses bloom. And along with her smile, she can look at the pond and see her reflection instead of the tears rippling through the water. How did she mistake the roses for a dragon? How was she so blind to the sunflowers that bring out the color of her chartreuse eyes? As she wanders back to her castle, she notices morning glories traveling up her walls, breaking the barrier she put up all these years ago. She started singing again. As she sang of the loneliness, she transformed into love.
Fresh. You bought that You made that
All right.
He's blushing.
Coming up next, we've got Tim. Everybody give her a Tim.
Hey, give it up for Potato, y'all, because
Yeah, Potato!
he does this here, and he doesn't even live here. He lives in Victoria, where I live, and he's killing it in like 2 cities right now. Good for him. This is about love and war, so here we go.
Yeah.
There is no love in this house. And I never thought I could hate such a pretty thing. Because you're pressed up against someone better. Richer maybe, better shape, but better. And for me, it's the same ghost every night. I'm in shark-infested waters with a bleeding heart. But a plane can fly on just one engine. And a heart can beat without your affection. And this house can stand just fine on its own.
Woo! Wow.
Right on. That dude's a badass too. Yeah, I gotta say, he's doing a lot of cool stuff. I think he's got some flyers and stuff too. He's got a, he's in charge of, he's part of Old Man and Bitter Girl. They run a podcast, and they also run a zine, which I think they're accepting submissions for.
Right now.
Yeah, right now, for arts and short stories and poetry and all that stuff. So if you want to get in it, just get that dude. Yeah, he's got zines and stuff right there. So yeah, it's really awesome. You should
Yeah,
check
and
it
I
out.
left plenty up front on the pamphlet thing, and they're all we distribute New York, the UK, all over the US.
Okay.
And we publish it twice a year. So independent artists, writers, poetry, and musicians. There's even a compilation you can download. So all that stuff.
A lot of cool underground stuff. Yeah. So without further ado, we got Elijah. Yes, everybody give her Elijah. Yay!
One small note before I begin. The only reference I make is Sylvia Plath wrote one novel during her life, at least to my knowledge. It was called The Bell Jar. So this is a birthday poem for a very good friend of mine, a wonderful poet. It says, "For D, you inspire me to be a better poet and a friend. I'm glad I met you." Remove the earth. I believe your bell jar suicidal song descended, gray and ghastly, that ghost-like gas invisible to our touch, now that you're here to stay. And so we seduce that string of white into your own ink jar and whisper it black, because I won't ever bury you blue like that. I won't bury you blue. I won't ever not believe in the gravity of your words as they reel and crush me. They make me reel with a nerve-buzzing call, solidified into syllables, then thrust against the wall. Crush me into dust, bleeding dye on every paper door we swing in our glass house, hollowed every night to make room for new inventions, your queer intentions, behind burying your babies under your bed. You leave your poems under your bed. But I love your every drink of unbearable perfection, your pioneer of metaphor, all the words you have in store, beating at your muse's door. Give me more, give me more. I'll write you poems till we're poor. I promise I'll be good to you. I believe your tree tattoo is still a tragic tear, burying through your bicep and bleeding a sweet ink-like blackness. But I love to pretend I sew it up with quicksilver words I find in the passing. Oh, how our words keep quietly amassing. And one day, we'll take turns pretending we're blind, and will lead us to a dire desperation of crushing need. I believe 24 lives, like a crystalline constellation, string you together, woman warm with wallowing words. 24 letters birth a beautiful name, 24 hours, and I've got nothing to say that's worth your beautiful mind's fragile time. But I believe my silence is the best thing I have. It means I'll let you sleep. I believe in your every ocean of swaying verse, every avalanche pouring black ash of passion. You pour yourself as quick as mercury into cups of silver, striking summer bells that warm our polyphonic heart strings with an absent harmony, too rich to pull apart and isolate each sweet piece. I believe in INFP as the personality, ineffable nexus of poetics inside fronds of departures. I'll never frustrate patterns, infinity of patterns, partners fraught with neurotic inventiveness. We invented figurative palaces. I never figured privacy would induce such furling passion. They make me reel with a nerve-buzzing call, solidified into syllables, then thrust against the wall. I believe in our fall. A slow descent through bone-chilling waters. Your words leave me breathless. Toward the surface they ascend. Yes, I do believe in our fall, and we'll remove the earth so it'll never end.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, coming up next, we've got Scott. Everybody give it our Scots. Correct, Scots.
First, just a statement. You guys are my version of real heroes. This is what it takes to be a real hero, doing this. And so I'm going to do the next piece as best I can to honor the tradition that y'all uphold by coming to an open mic, staying to the very end, and speaking your mind. No, I'm not supposed to do it that way. I'm supposed to do it this way, right? This way.
Yeah, right way.
This way. Yeah, we'll try that. Let's see. Is FX on? FX is on? Sure. Okay. Oh, here. Okay. A man or woman. And I don't know when it happens. I don't know if it happens when you're 18 or 22 or 31 or... For me it happened when I was 47 and 11 months. When I was young, I used to think a hero was he who took up the sword. Later, I thought it was he who took up the pen to defeat the sword. And I began to wonder over the last hour, what would the world look like if it had no heroes? Would it mean there were no more bombs dropped or drones sent on senseless missions? Would it mean that the food that we have available to feed the whole world were given to those in need? Would I give up my notion of heroes to have a world that didn't need them? Would I give up a world that said someday a man's gonna rise? Could be you, will be you. Or a woman says today I'm in love with a heart completely flipping open. I say to my poet friends in this room, y'all are my heroes. Not only did you try in your hours of darkness or need to try to shape something from this amorphous mess that is our mind into words, but then you had had the crazy, senseless notion to come share it with somebody. That's the kind of hero I want to live in a world with. Let the other ones go by the wayside, let them go wandering in the corridors of time like you know they like to do. Because it must be admitted, there's a part of us that wants to be hero worshipped. I don't want to be that sort of man. I don't want to be that sort of father. I don't want to be that sort of friend. I don't want to be that sort of being occupying space. I'd rather be open like a mic, where everybody goes home that night with eyes so wide and joyous to see people gave a shit about what they were doing. They were willing to put it all on the line. I am so sorry for those people who can't be here. That ain't gonna change their minds and get them here. Tomorrow if you go somewhere and you say, man, last night I went to wake the dead and it was let that be the mantra. Let that be the kind of hero you want to be. Peace. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so go to
Yes.
All right, thank you, Scott. And can I fix this door? I think I can.
You know you can.
Oh,
You
there
know
you
you
go.
can.
I
Yeah.
did it. Yeah.
Don't forget.
Okay.
No, turn it
Coming up
up.
next, we got Debangana. Everyone get over Debangana. Yay!
Let's just leave it.
It's a short one. Don't leave. Please sit a while. We have only this little time. An invisible embrace encompassing each particle of air. I am collecting each grain in my two fists, accumulating love. Seeing you go, I can't even say don't leave. I have no breath to make a sound. I fear I may lose what I saved of you, wash away in a flood one day. Please don't go. We have only this little time.
Yeah.
Now. I got the best sound engineer.
She ain't no robot.
See, that inspires me too, because when Bethany gets older,
Yeah,
I'm just totally gonna, she's gonna be coming with me to open mics and she'll be like, yeah, set all that up.
That's right.
You're doing good, honey. Doing great. Alright, we just got a few poets left, and that's the end of the night for us. So, coming up next, we got this chick. If you go back there, you can see her artwork, and I highly recommend you do because it is awesome. Her name is Kelsey. She does great art. She's getting a little embarrassed right now, but
Yay,
she's
Kelsey.
gonna have to deal with it. So coming up next, we've got the talented artists and poets, Kelsey. Everybody give it up for Kelsey! Yay!
Earlier, Mike said something about how the real champions of the night put away the chairs and they helped clean up and everything. And that reminded me of something that my mom used to say, that the difference between a good cook and a great cook is that a great cook cleans up after herself.
Yeah.
And aren't we word cooks? Is
Yes.
that the Facebook page?
Yeah, word
So,
cooks. Yep.
my hesitation about reading was that I don't feel like this one's quite done cooking, but I'll go for it. Because the body no one's to do.
Yeah.
I live in a town now where you and I used to live together, and I go places wondering if I'll happen to find footing in a place where we once stood hand in hand during a time that I was first becoming aware that I was a tiny kid with a name. If I occupied that exact space, would I feel a shiver up my spine? Or would time freeze? Would my heart stop or beat faster? Would any part of me remember? What I do recall are things like feeding catfish by the theater building with one of our cats in your giant purse while you were pursuing your degree. I asked if we threw my cat into the water, if he would turn into a catfish too. And I tried to imagine what that gruesome transformation would look like when you told me that it was true. I don't know how you thought that it was acceptable to bring your 4-year-old and your cat to your classes at the university. It wasn't out of the ordinary at the time to me, but now I love you for that. On days we left the kitten at home, I remember you'd leave me in the box office with those nice ladies who would buy me gobstoppers from the vending machine. I never cared for the taste, but I was amazed at how the colors would change on the candies. Do I know any of the people now that you knew then that could hold a wealth of new stories for me about you? Did I sit in the same lecture halls and hear the voices of the same professors? In dreaming, I find myself longing to introduce you to my new loved ones that you never met. I've grown up now, and I'm changing and learning, exploring and growing, while you remain an ageless ghost in my dreams. I tried to move forward with you, but I fear that might hold me back. It's a confusing thing for your imagination to make new memories for you that never truly happened. So I'll keep looking for something real where I'm at now.
Thank you. I'm glad you did. Alright, we've just got 2 more poets left, and that's the end. The end of the night. Oh, it's okay. There'll be another one. Alright, so coming up next, we've got Nick.
Hey, Nick!
Everybody, Nick!
This is another short one.
Yeah.
Get it going. We here are smacked into reality by the shallow seas that have pulled tears from the toads, molten hot skin from the Pacific Ocean, and the summer wave pools.
All right, thanks, Nick. All right, we got 1 more poet left, and then that's the end of the night, the end of round 3, the end of everything. Oh. And if, well, not everything, oh geez. So yeah, if you can stick around and help me sort of get things sort of back to normal-ish, then that would be great. Y'all be fantastic. So without further ado, give it up for Clint!
Help the man. That's the way.
There you go.
Whole story.
Sorry if this is a lackluster ending to our night. American English ain't too hard to speak, is it? Thanks, Noah Webster.
All right. And on that note, everybody, have a good night. Y'all are amazing.